Just drop a line and reel 'em in. It's good old boys gone fishing again. Just drop a line and reel 'em in. It's good old boys gone fishing again.
Yeah, it's that time again to drop a line. So sit back and relax and let's go fishing again. Come along as we join John Shaw and today's special guest. Reel 'em in on Fishing with the Good Old Boys. Good fishing.
Just drop a line and reel 'em in. It's good old boys gone fishing again. Just drop a line and reel 'em in. It's good old boys gone fishing again. It's good old boys gone fishing again.
Hi folks, we're at Talkalai Lake on the San Carlos Apache Reservation. We have with us Mr. Steve Penfield. Steve, what are we going to do today here?
Today we're going to do something different, John. We're going to, normally I like to fish with artificial baits, but there's a certain live bait that I enjoy fishing with, and I do it a little bit differently, and maybe we can show some of the folks back home how I do that today.
Dynamite. He's talking about water dogs, folks, so we'll be right back and we're going to be dogging from Talkalai Lake. You stay put. Steve, you want to show the folks at home, myself included, first what we're using here? We're using water dogs, and what kind of hook are you using there?
Well, John, today we've been using, because of the type of structure we're fishing around, you know, there's quite a bit of brush in this lake. And so I usually come up here, a lot of people would think it'd be real heavy line, but it's 20-pound test is what I normally use. And I use it on a fairly heavy action rod, and it's a 5.9. It's not a very long rod, but it's real easy, or easier to use this type of rod for pitching around it. And if you hook a big fish back in some of this stuff, you need the beef of that rod and that heavier line to have a chance of actually getting the fish in the boat. So basically what I'm doing here, I've got a fairly stout hook here. It's on a 1/4 ounce lead weight on it, so a jig head with a small brush guard on it, which is real important also because you don't want to be hung up all the time, and you want to be able to throw the water dog right back into the brush. So this is one that we'd use for artificial lures. We could put a plastic worm on here if we wanted to, or we could rig up a skirt with a double tail type trailer if we wanted to. But what we're going to do with it today is we're going to put a water dog on there, and we're going to fish that water dog just like we would a lure, just like we would the jig or the plastic worm. Basically, all you do is just take the water dog from the bottom lip, bring it out through the top lip like so, and that's as simple as it is right there. The reason I don't use just a hook without any weight on it is because a lot of the brush you want to actually pinpoint your cast, and the weight actually isn't to help you cast because the water dog's heavy enough anyway, but the weight actually takes the water dog more at a straight angle, so the water dog doesn't swim in and out and all through the limbs and stuff, and that's how it is. What we're going to use today is what we call a flip cast, and this flip cast is something that they kind of came from the Midwest back there from some of the lakes, and I got to goofing with it at the shows and stuff, casting a practice plug into like a cup or into one of the rings and stuff, and I got to thinking about it, and it looked like a pretty good cast to start using while I was actually fishing. So basically what it is, I set my reel fairly loose on here. I don't have a whole lot of drag on the spool, and it's an underhanded cast. It makes it very accurate because you can see once you release and make your cast, you can see the lure
bait,
or the bait all the way to where your target area is. And you just hold this hand still, you don't move it at all, you just hold the bait in it like so, and you lift the rod with your wrist right here.
You load it up a bit?
Right, you can load it up a little bit if you want, and you just bring it out and swing it out like so, and you keep the bait or the lure low and close to the water, and it makes a real quiet entry that way, and it also allows you to cast or to pitch up underneath a lot of the lower hanging bushes and brush and limbs, that type of thing. It works good around docks, which we don't have a lot around here also, but anything that's low and overhanging on the water's edge.
I saw you use it to perfection a few minutes ago when you caught that nice bass. That was beautiful.
If I'd have probably tried to make a different type of cast in there, I probably wouldn't have been able to catch that fish. And you know, the type of lob cast where you just cast overhand like so, it's impossible to get a cast like that in there. So it helps you be more accurate. It also helps a nice silent presentation to the fish, and less noise, less chance of spooking the fish also. And I believe that that type of cast, not only does it get the bait or the lure in there where the fish are sometimes, but because it's quieter, I think that also helps you catch more fish too.
Definitely.
Remember, it's just hold it in your hand right here. A lot of people try to throw with this hand, but you just hold this hand still.
Let the rod do the
and
work.
just bring it out and point the rod at the target right there. And that's it. That's how it works. It's a real simple cast. It's an easy cast to go out in the backyard and practice. Set up a 5-gallon bucket or something in the corner of the yard by a bush or whatever. Go out there and if more people would practice and cast on doing this cast, I think it'd probably help them catch some more fish.
I think you're right. Steve Penfield, great tip. Pitching, flipping water dogs.
In shallow water like this, it's why it's so important, this type of cast. Presentation being quiet and least amount of noise in the boat, trolling motor noise, tackle boxes, you know, being slammed shut, anything like that, any of the hatches in the boat.
Yeah, like I did about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it is, you know, it's just, it can really help.
Yeah, that's one of the...
Especially on some of the bigger fish, I believe.
That's how they got big, by being
Get
little...
keyed in, you know, to something being up a little bit easier than, say, a 1.5-pound fish or something that's real aggressive.
Yeah, that's definitely a key to catching big fish, I think. Be super quiet.
I try to leave as least amount to chance, you know, that as possible. It's like the fish formulas and things like that, you know, if you feel like it helps and it helps you concentrate more and everything, then if it adds any confidence to you at all in your fishing, then go ahead and use it. Well, I've had fish just come up when I was dragging across the reeds and just open up a hole like you dropped a 5-gallon bucket right there. So the thing about the live reeds are okay. The dead ones, they'll fold.
And get all over you. Yeah.
And because they're dead, and they'll fold right there, and you end up dragging them back with you when you really don't want to. So many places for the fish to hide in. Places like this, they can be way back in there, and it's difficult to get too much further back into it. And if you catch one, a lot of times he's a fish that's sitting fairly close to the outside edge. It'll come out and grab your lure or your bait. But you can fish by areas like this, and you have no idea how many fish you're fishing past that you're not catching at all. I think I just, yeah.
All right, Steve. All right.
Yeah, here he comes.
All right. Woo-hoo. What do we got here, Steve? Big fish.
Yeah, it's a catfish.
Oh, a dog and a cat.
See him
They
down
go
there
together.
running around. Pretty good sized one.
Bring him in anyway.
Looks like a channel cat. I thought it was a flathead. There's a channel cat. Nice one. He's fighting good.
All right.
Hey, I got this drag tightened down pretty good, and he's pulling drag out. Yeah, that's a channel. That's a big channel cat.
All right, Steve. Dog and a cat, huh? It's usually the opposite way around. The cat usually gets chased by the dog, but not this time, folks.
These things will catch about anything. There we go.
All right. Nice.
That's a good sized channel cat there. Most of the channel cats you catch are 1.5, 2 pounds for the most part. That's a pretty good sized one.
Yeah, he ate that. You were right about it. If that was a bass, that would have been a big boy.
Yeah, when I first set the hook, I had my hopes up.
All right. Ooh. Those boys could hurt you too.
Put the rod down here. The pliers here. There we go. Probably go, I don't know, probably close to 10 pounds right in there. Their heads are real heavy. It might be 8.
Yeah, I would think about 8.
There. Probably around 8 pounds.
Nice cat though. Way to go,
Nice
Steve.
one. We'll turn him loose.
That's it. Put him back there. Let him grow to be 20 pounds. See a big cat. I just got whacked. I got a hit.
All right. Set it.
Oh, he's not taking it now.
There he goes. That's
Got
it.
him, got him.
That's it. Nice fish.
Oh!
Didn't set it very good. That was another catfish.
That was a cat, you're right.
Another channel cat.
He mauled my dog, that's for sure.
One of the things that will help you on that hook set is to use your wrists and a lot more, and your arms a lot less, and snap
Like
it.
that. Okay.
Snap it, you know, and pivot it right here on your wrist, like so,
Okay.
and bring it back like this, and snap it
Okay.
more than pull.
The arm one that I've been
Yeah.
doing,
With that brush guard on there and stuff, it's
yeah. We got a socket to
yeah,
it.
it's necessary to give it a little bit sharper set.
Okay.
One of the keys to fishing, whether it's this water dog, which we're fishing like a lure today, or an artificial lure like a plastic worm or a jig, even a crankbait or a spinnerbait, is knowing what that lure is doing at all times. You know, is the lure still falling? You know, like you've pitched in front of the toolies. Is it still falling, or did it stop? And did it stop too soon? As the fish grabbed it? You know, what's happening? A lot of times it's hard for people to discern the difference between when you're working a jig or a worm, if it's coming through a bush or hitting a rock or coming up over a limb on a bush or something like that. And when a person starts figuring out those differences and learning what his lure is doing at all times, they'll start catching more fish.
In other words, anything out of the ordinary, like if you're throwing the bait and throwing it and it's reacting the same way each time,
Right.
then something a little...
Then all of a sudden something changes, something's different. You need to key in on things like that. And what happens a lot of times is, one of the reasons why a lot of people are hung up a lot is they don't know the difference between going through a bush. You know, all they know is they felt some pressure and they'll set the hook on it and they'll be hung up. And a lot of times you have to key in on, okay, I'm in a bush, work the bait through it, because that's where you get a lot of your strikes. And you'll be working up over a limb, that lure will come along and just hop over the other side of that limb, boom, the fish will grab it right there. And if you don't know that, and you either rip the lure through there thinking you got a bite, or you set the hook on it and it snags up in the branch on that limb, on that bush, then you just took your chances from possibly catching a fish in that bush. Hopping up over the tops of boulders, letting it fall down, a lot of times that's when fish will strike right there. So knowing and keying in on what's happening with your lure or with your bait is very, very important.
Good tip, Steve.
There, one just took it right there. See my line move? There he is. Pretty good fish. If I can get him out of that bush down there. There he is. He's coming loose. Not too bad. Nice Talkalai bass.
Right. Okay, Steve. Way to go, buddy.
He's really a little bit smaller than what we usually catch up here, but he's a nice, healthy fish.
Yeah, look at him.
He's
Beautiful
a pound and
color,
three-quarter, pound and a half fish. He's not bad.
All right.
They ate that water dog good. Here's one of the good things about fishing with the dogs rigged up this way is like today we're catch and releasing, and I catch and release most of my fish anyway. But you can see how the fish is hooked, just like it was a lure.
Rather than gut hooking them.
Instead of down in the gullet, and the fish is no more hurt than if you'd caught it on an artificial lure this way. And so I like that part of it, about fishing the live bait this way.
Good job, Steve.
Right.
Way to go.
There he goes.
All right.
Right back into that bush.
That's it. Let him
All
grow.
right, come on, John. Let's catch some more.
All right. Good job, Steve.
Hey, John, we're going along here, and I've noticed some of these places where the fish have been and everything, and one of the key spots is putting that water dog right in that spot and fishing it right there, and that's how you catch these bigger fish. So if you cast right back in there, you ought to catch a good fish out of there.
Oh, right there?
Yeah, right there. Get it in there.
Yeah,
That's it.
There you go.
Now right over here is where the 8-pounder always sits.
Oh man!
So I just thought I'd let you know that.
Folks, this guy is something. Penfield, he's catching all the fish today, and he... Way to go, Steve. All right, okay.
That is true about putting it in the key spots.
Yeah, that first cast, folks, is really super important.
See if we can get one out of there. There, one just picked it up, John.
All right, Steve.
There he goes. He's running right back in there a little bit. He's in a bush.
In the bush. He's stuck.
I still got him.
There. All right.
Still got him.
Let me pull in.
Pull the trolling motor over there. Maybe I can get him loose.
Yeah.
Feels like a pretty good fish. He's on the other side of that bush, so I can't tell for sure, but maybe I can get it loose here.
All right, Steve. Now, this is really thrown into the weeds.
That's why we got a heavy line, and yeah, there he is. Here he comes.
There he is.
Here he comes. Nice fish. Nice fish.
There he is. Oh,
yeah.
Steve. All right, buddy.
Right. That's a good Talkalai bass right there.
Way to
Nice
go,
and chunky.
Steve.
Look how fat they are. That color in them. They're just real healthy.
Way to go, Steve.
But you can see fishing that way where I'd thrown there, John, that if I hadn't had a rod with pretty good backbone to it and a little bit heavier line, I probably would have never had a chance of getting that fish. That's a nice one there.
Fish. Let's put him out over
Nice,
here so
healthy.
we could have the camera watch as you put him back in. Way
Let's
to go,
turn him loose.
Steve. All right, Steve Penfield, folks, here at Talkalai.
All right, let's turn him loose, John.
Beautiful fish, Steve.
There we go, all right.
See you, buddy. All right, Steve.
All right, let's see if we
Flipping
can catch some
Waterdogs.
more. That's a good fish there.
That was a real nice fish.
That's a little more of the typical size up here.
All right, that's a beauty. Nice fish, Steve. There they go. There goes one.
Pretty birds.
Oh, gorgeous.
John, a lot of times when you get snagged, you know, especially if the...
Hold on, I gotta tell the folks, that's
Oh, I'm
my
sorry.
snag. That's my snag. It's not Steve's snag, by the way.
A lot of times when you get snagged, especially when it's up shallow like this, if you don't pull too hard on it, it won't get snagged up too much and you can shake it off. But if you can't, you can pull up to it and just get on the back side of it, and usually the lure will come right off then. Like I said, there we go.
All right.
And it saves you from having to retie. You know, a lot of times when you're fun fishing and stuff, you don't mind going in and getting your lures or something like that. But a lot of times in tournaments or something, you know, we just break off and
Yeah,
go
time
on.
is the name of the game in tournaments.
I thought I'd be nice to you today.
What a guy. Thanks, Steve. A couple of San Carlos tribe members out here having a good old time, folks.